What is up, guys? Welcome back to another edition. I am once again super excited to be working today in the studio and working through this 30-day boot camp. It has been an honor so far to be with you guys and to share some of this information. And we've got a lot more to, let's say, dump on you today, right? So, I guess I want to maybe check in with you guys and see, what you think about what you've learned so far. If there's anything specific that stood out, just drop it in the comments. Anything that you want to address or if you have any sort of distinctions or breakthroughs that have happened for you as we've been moving through, I'd love to hear about them. So you can either drop in the comments or shoot me a message. With that being said, I'm ready to get rolling today. We've got a pretty packed lesson, and I'm really excited about it. So let's dive in. Today, we're going to talk all about developing your brand. And I think this is fun. This is something that, like, when you're starting out in business, you really need to get a lot of momentum moving in the right direction. So we're just going to kind of jump in and start here today. Now, so far as the first 5 days we've been through, we've already covered mindset, right? So getting your mind right, getting geared up so that you can move through your business and through the obstacles and the hurdles and do it with much more ease and flow. So you can accomplish big things instead of melting down when you kind of hit these roadblocks. We've tackled beliefs, right? So beliefs are obviously huge. You're not going to get any further than what you believe you're going to get in your business. So we really went through beliefs. If you guys want to go through and watch any of these trainings over again, feel free to do so. I think they're all really, really important pieces, but mindset and beliefs go really hand in hand together. Future casting, setting goals, having a target to shoot at as you move into your business. That's a real big one as well. So that was a great lesson. Health, one of the biggest ones that gets overlooked pretty commonly, really just walking through health and talking about why it's so important and so vital to the success of your business, and not just your business, but your life and your relationships. And then money, the conversation everybody loves, right? How money plays an important role in your business and your beliefs and thoughts around money, how they shape the ability for you to sell your work and to generate higher income for your business. So we've already covered these 5 topics. They're pretty heavy topics. So I would highly recommend you guys go back and check out the videos. If you haven't seen them yet, dive into those and really start to work on getting this stuff nailed down so you can start creating your dream business. Now today, again, we're talking about developing your brand. I want to just dive right in with that. And let's start here. And I want to start with, what does your company represent? And when I ask that question, what I mean is this: what or who do you photograph? Do you have a clear idea of who it is that you photograph or what it is that you want to photograph? That's really the starting point as far as determining, what your company is, who it represents, all of that. What products and services do you offer? So this is something important to think about as well. If you've never considered selling products, if you've never considered what markets you're going to actually market your services to, this would be a good thing for you to know, like what you offer and who you offer it to. And then, what are your goals within your business? Okay, you've got to have solid goals in your business. And we talked about that again in the future casting lesson. It's really, really important that you have a clearly defined goal to aim at. That way you can measure your progress along the way. And if you don't, you're kind of just shooting in the dark. Okay, so let's go in. I want to go into setting up, and we'll talk about as a business. Now, look, if you're an established business, you've been around for a while, some of this will be touching back up on some things. If you're a brand new business, really close attention. And either way, I want you guys to really pay attention to what I'm going to say, because even if you've been in business for a long time, some people don't have a lot of this stuff dialed in. So it's a good refresher, okay? First thing I want to talk about, let's set up your business. So if you were starting from the ground floor, first thing you want to do is decide on your business name. You need to know what people are going to call your business. You need to know what your business name is, because it's going to be on a lot of documents moving forward. So aside from that, you want to obtain a business license and decide on which legal structure that you want to be or to operate under, whether it's sole proprietor, LLC. There's a lot of different stuff there. Those are the 2 main ones that you see, is sole proprietor, LLC. And again, like I told you guys previously, I'm LLC. So you need to get the licensing and figure out on what legal structure you want to operate under. Then you want to obtain your federal employer identification number, or your FEIN. This is the number that is going to represent or be the identifier for your business, right? So when you set up like bank accounts, when you do things like that, under your business, you're going to need this number. If you haven't done this, you probably should start looking towards moving that direction. From that point, you want to open business bank accounts. Okay, you're going to need to put your business money in a certain place, and ideally, if you can separate it from personal money, that would be the best scenario. Okay, so open business bank accounts, and again, you'll need the FEIN and your business docs and all that for that too. Then you need a business license and permit, so you can operate, right? So you just file those with your city. You get your business license, you renew it, get a new one every year, and that's really one of the things that, pretty simple, but you got to have. Business insurance. This is commonly overlooked. And in fact, I was listening to a podcast last week about a guy. He actually was, what was he talking about? He was talking about when he was a videographer. He was videoing weddings, and he was saying how the night before the wedding, the venue hit him up and said they didn't have a copy of his business policy. So the thing is, if you're photographing weddings specifically, a lot of places actually require you to have a liability insurance rider. So you want to go ahead and establish that and get that in place so that you're covered not only for the venue side, but your side. If you have like an equipment damage situation where like you drop a camera or it falls in the water, you have what's called an inland marine policy that can be added to the business insurance policy. Ask your agent about that. And if you don't have one, you need to look into that because it's really important to have those things down. Again, I've talked about this in previous lessons. One of the biggest pieces of advice I can give you guys is hire an attorney. Just get an attorney on board. CPA. Attorney's good as well, but hire a CPA who can help you with your numbers, who can help you set up with a nice tax strategy as you move forward. The attorney would be good if you're like when you're setting up your business license or deciding a legal structure. LegalZoom's actually a really good resource for that and relatively affordable. So I would recommend checking them out as well. Then you're going to start looking at your website. Okay, you want to look at, you've got to have a place to put your work up for people to see it, for people to find you. So you need to buy a domain if you don't have that. If you already have your domain, great. You start building your site, or you continue to improve on your site's aesthetic so that when people land on your website, it's appealing to them, it's attractive, and it draws them in and inspires them to want to work with you. Okay, so obviously you set your website up. Your social media accounts come next. And I just went basic with Facebook and Instagram. There's a lot of other ones you can go with. There's obviously Pinterest and Twitter and LinkedIn and a bunch of other ones. I tend to focus more to Facebook and Instagram. I find that's where the bulk of traffic comes from for us. There's some really cool platforms like SmarterQ and Later and some programs like that you can integrate and post to multiple platforms later. And we'll get into that later with marketing. But you want to have these social accounts set up, at least Facebook and Instagram, because they play really nicely together, being that Facebook owns Instagram. Setting up a CRM or a client relationship manager service where basically you know how to or where your leads are being stored, your clients are being stored. You can automate workflows and things like that. So you want to set that stuff up and just get the ball rolling there. Now, guys, I know we've talked about getting to marketing and sales, but this stuff right here has to get done, and it's a lot, right? I mean, if you think about it, it's kind of a lot to do. So that's why it's important that we lay the right foundations first. Moving on, let's go into continuing. We're actually obviously continuing with setting up, but let's talk about developing your brand identity. So this can go into like what colors do you want on your website or your logos? What colors are going to be on your promotional materials? Like, you want a cohesive branded look so that when people see your name, your business name, they know that you're legit, right? They know that this person's got their stuff together. It looks more uniform, and it honestly presents way better and inspires more confidence in buyers that are looking to hire you. So developing a brand identity in that sense is very important. Also, again, and you can see this could be number one on the list, but set up a business plan, right? And really just a great idea to set up a business plan. But specifically, if you're looking to get funding for your business through a small business loan or a small business lender, having a business plan is a really great place to start because most of them are going to ask you to see what you're setting up, what your projections are, and things like that. So, a lot of people get into business without a business plan. They kind of just start like, hey, I got my business, I'm ready to roll. Like, let's do it. There's no shame in that. But having a defined plan kind of forces you to sit down and line out where you want to go. So it's really important to think about setting up a business plan, okay? And then you want to set up rock solid contracts. And you can also double back to like LegalZoom or whoever your attorney is for this. It's important as your clients are signing these agreements and these contracts that both they're protected and you're protected. You want to make sure that in the event of let's say an act of God, like coronavirus, right? That you're covered, that you're not necessarily on the hook for something that you can't control. Having a really good contract in place is going to help you really, offset a lot of that damage. With all that being said, I'm not saying you can't be empathetic or sympathetic, but you need to have your contracts rock solid, because while it's one thing to be empathetic, it's another thing for you to actually keep your business functioning properly as well. And you've got to, it's kind of like a two-way street here. So you want to make sure you're protected there. Okay, let's keep going. So next, once you've got all of those things down, what you want to start doing, you could be doing this along the way too, but you want to really begin to understand your market and who you serve. And what I mean by that is you need to start doing market research. If you want to photograph weddings, you need to, make it a habit or just like a 30-minute to an hour a day habit of studying the market. See, where brides are looking for clients, what brides are looking for in photography, where brides are hanging out. You know what I mean? So start researching the market. You can research what price ranges people are charging for weddings. And I wouldn't necessarily make it be all end all. Like, you can set your pricing to be what you want it to be. Again, it comes back to your belief around it. And obviously, the market has to bear that price as well. But that's also another lesson. I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. But just know, doing your market research will at least give you an idea of what brides are spending on average, and you can kind of work from there, okay? So that's a really good thing. Let's keep going. So know your strengths and hire out the weaknesses. Now, this is a really big one, and if you're just starting out, this may not be easy to do. And even if you've been established for a while, it's not always the easiest. So what I mean by this is, like, I am not necessarily the greatest at, let's say, email correspondence, right? So there's two things. One, Jess and I work together. So Jess is a lot better about that than I am. So she can handle that. Or there's the option to handle or hire a VA, virtual assistant. Or number three, you can hire an administrative assistant to work in your office. Now, we have an administrative assistant that works with us currently. She does handle some emails and communication stuff. And it's really, really nice to be able to hire that out, because when we can be honest with ourselves and recognize that this is not a strength of ours, then we can start putting people in place who are great at handling those things and be more productive on our end in the areas that we're strong in. Okay, so let me see. Kimmy has had a comment. So she said, "Thanks, Ross. Wish we had this guide years ago. We set up all these things haphazardly over time. Would have been nice to have a list before getting started." So yeah, Kimmy, totally get it. And it's one of those things, like a lot of this stuff I learned from trial and error too. And so yeah, the biggest thing you can do now is just improve on what you have in place, tighten up all the rest of the systems, and keep moving forward. And I know we work with you guys. You guys are making great progress, and just it's been really, really fun to watch. So great job. Again, if you guys have ever seen our webinar or you've ever talked to us, you know that we have a service mindset. And Jess and I truly believe that service is the number one aspect of business that sets you up for success. So when you can develop a service mindset above a selling mindset, you then can operate from a place of serving your client, creating an outcome or a desired result for your client, and the sales will start to happen. But if it's all about a money grab off the top, it's going to be a lot harder to generate business and generate revenue, because people can kind of sniff that out, and it's really not authentic. So just, keep that in mind. Service mindset's great. One of the biggest ones, again, I see it everywhere. I mean, if you even go online and look at like business setup, like ways to set up a business or things to do or whatever, hiring a mentor is one of the things that's on almost every list. And the objective behind hiring a mentor is that if you realize that somebody's already tested the market, that knows how to put you in position to do the things that you need to do, you can actually shave years off of the learning curve. And what that ultimately means for you is that if you're willing to show up and bust your butt and implement the strategies, that you're going to actually be able to make more money in your business in a shorter amount of time, which that's the objective, I think, in every business. So hiring a mentor is a great strategy. Next thing, we're almost there. We're still in setting up, right? So know your numbers, all right? So you need to know what things are costing you. You need to know what it's costing your business to set up. So, This doesn't mean that you have it all dialed in perfectly, but you need to have an idea, at least like I said the other day. Keep a spreadsheet, know what's going out, what expenses you have, track your revenue in, all of that stuff. You need to know like what money's going out, what money's coming in, so that you can actually efficiently know what to do with your business. And if you don't, you're kind of just, again, shooting in the dark. And to me, it's sort of like rolling the dice on what's going to happen in your business in 2 to 3 years. I also learned that the hard way. So you want to make sure you know your numbers as best you can. And as your business grows and improves, obviously that will be one of those things that you need to, just get better at, because the bigger your business gets, the more expenses you're going to have, the more revenue you'll have coming in too if you're growing. And so you need to have a good tracking system, and you can start that now. Okay. And Kimmy again says, yo, hire a mentor, people, it's beyond worthwhile. So Kimmy, I appreciate your feedback there, and it's it's awesome watching you guys, man. It's so cool. Here's a big one. Make sure that you're truly passionate about what you're pursuing. Right? Because if you are not passionate about this business, you're going to tire out. And that's not just this business, that's any business. So if you get into something and you just get into it because you're like, oh, I can make a lot of money shooting weddings, like you're going to burn out, you're going to hate it. I promise you. If you get into it because you're passionate about it, you'll find a way. You'll find that drive, you'll find that gear when you feel like you've just been pounded into the ground. You'll find that next gear to get up and make progress. And that's a big thing. So you want to make sure that before you put all of this effort and resource and financial resource into your business, make sure you're really, truly passionate about it. And one of the other biggest things, nothing is given or guaranteed. Okay, nothing's going to fall in your lap. Okay, I guess there's a possibility that you could inherit something or whatever. But even if you inherited like $1 million that you didn't have the business sense, it's not going to mean you have a good business. It's going to mean you have a lot of money you're probably going to blow. So make sure that you understand you've got to earn this. You've got to be willing to put in the work and the man hours and the sweat equity. Nothing is given or guaranteed. And lastly here, you want to refine your processes and improve daily. And I find myself constantly evolving as an artist. I feel like, as soon as I feel like my work is great, I'm finding ways to make it better. And I think that's the evolution that artists need to take. And that's the mindset artists need to take on about their evolution. The second you feel like you have hit the very pinnacle of your career is the second you're going to go downhill and it's going to start going the opposite direction for you. So you really have to take this seriously. Make sure you're refining your processes. Like, let's say you had a follow-up strategy for your clients and it took 5 different steps to complete, and you could refine that process to make it more efficient, and now you could do it in 2 steps. That's what I mean. Refine those things, tighten those systems up, and make sure that you can improve on a daily basis, because I'm promising you guys, as you grow your business, you're going to have more obstacles. The bigger your business gets, the bigger the challenge gets, okay? So that's, like we said, again, you cannot, your business will never outperform your mindset, and you cannot have $1 million business with a $30,000 a year mindset, okay? So you've got to get rock solid and tighten this stuff up. Now, let's talk about what to do next. So once you've done all of the stuff, here's what I would suggest and recommend you guys do. Your business at this point is going to be set up. You're going to have all of your legal docs in place. You're going to have everything's the formation of your business is done. The bank accounts are set up. You're ready to start rocking and rolling, right? So what you need to start doing is marketing to your ideal clients. So again, doing the market research, finding who your client is. I want you guys to think about who are the top 2 or 3 niches that you want to work with, and then start marketing to those clients. Okay, so do the research and then you start marketing. Then you can network with community vendors. So again, I want to use wedding community because that's where I really got my start, and I spent a good decade. There are so many vendors within the wedding community you could network with. And I mean, honestly, I would do things like trade, free shoots with people for publications and shout outs. And I know that doesn't pay the bills, but as you get into building content and increasing your exposure to more clients, it's a really productive sort of hack there. And we're going to go into some content creation next week, and I'll give you guys some of the strategies I used when working with vendors as well. But yeah, I mean, networking with community vendors is big because it keeps you top of mind. And if you provide something for them that's of value, then I am a firm believer in the law of reciprocity. When you sow, when you put something out, it'll come back to you tenfold. And I've seen it over and over in my career. So I promise you guys, networking and providing value to those vendors is big. Find positive support groups like this one. Now, There's a million groups on Facebook, and 99% of them are not all positive groups, okay? And I don't mean to bash on anybody. No disrespect to any other group. There's a lot of great ones too. But if you're going to stay in the mindset of positivity and possibility, you need to stay in a group that has like an upbeat feel. You need to stay in a group of people that are positive and positive minded and encouraging and help you get to the next step and don't put you down. A lot of groups have a lot of judgment and people that don't necessarily care about how they make other people feel, and we don't tolerate that in this group. I want this to be a safe space for you guys. So, you can share here, you can ask questions here. We're here to support you, and I believe positive support groups like this one will help you also improve and get to the next level even quicker. Focus on 2 to 3 tasks daily to build. While I've got Kimmy on, I know her and I have chatted about this a lot. In the grand scheme of running a business, there are a lot of tasks to do day in and day out. And the truth is, if you focus so widely on all of these things at once, it's pretty likely that none of them will get done because you become overwhelmed before you even start. So the best thing you can do is chunk these things down into like 2 to 3 tasks in a day and just keep knocking down the list. And then next thing you know, like over the course of a week, you've got a really, really great, you look back at your list is like, holy crap, I got a lot done this week. So it's a really big thing to think about. You're not going to be able to do everything at once. You can't be a million places at once. So focus on 2 to 3 tasks. Whatever the order of importance is for you, do those things first, okay? And then that will be ultimately what helps you propel your business to the next level and keep making progress without having a meltdown. And then lastly, remember, do not compare yourself with others, okay? Stay in your lane, commit to dialing in your systems, work hard, do what you got to do for you, and don't worry about what everybody else says or does, okay? I look at it like I put the blinders on, I've got tunnel vision. Everything else on my periphery is just, I don't even care about that, right? I'm focused on my business, serving my clients, getting the results for them and myself. And, as soon as you start focusing on what everybody else is doing, you're taking attention away from your business. You actually rob your business. And it's not fair to you. It's not fair to your clients, okay? So make sure that you stay focused on your business. It's okay to notice what other people are doing. That's fine. But don't necessarily look at them and say, oh man, so-and-so so much further along than I am. I'll never get there. Because that puts you in a negative energy, and it actually stops you from making progress on your business. So focus on your business, celebrate those small wins again. So like every time that you do accomplish something, celebrate it. Like, hey, I filed for my business license, celebration. Hey, I got my FEIN, celebration. My website's up, celebration. You celebrate everything, and all of the wins stack and they add, and you build momentum, okay? So I will want to leave you guys with that. This is a big list, okay? And a lot of us have been in business for a long time and still haven't done all of this stuff. Fortunately, I've got all this stuff on my end dialed in, and I encourage you guys to do that if you haven't. But if you haven't, that's okay. I've been doing this professionally for a long time. So with all of that said, as I always tell you guys, we are here to help you guys out. If you have questions about getting started, if you have questions about like how to start the formation docs for your business, or how to get an FEIN, or where to go, or what to look for, hit us up, okay? If you have questions about any of that, hit us up. You want to get to the next level, hit us up. What we want to do is just offer you a breakthrough call with us. It's totally free, 7step6figures.com/apply. We get on the phone for 30, 45 minutes. We'll chat about your business. We'll see if we can put an actionable game plan together to help you get to the next level. And honestly, guys, at the end of the day, it comes down to, what do you want out of your business? Are you happy where you are today? Or do you want to take it to the next level where you can provide more impact to your clients, more income for your family, and more freedom, right? So if you want to get to the next level, that's what this is all about. If you're happy where you are, that's cool too. Thanks for being here. The answer isn't wrong either way, but we just want to make sure that you guys know we're here for you. If you want to book the call, and we'll definitely hook you up. Okay. With all of that being said, I want to just encourage you guys, as always, to be fearless, to take action, and to live empowered, and show up big every day for your business. Keep your focus where it needs to be. We will catch you next week. We're going to talk about a bunch of stuff regarding the marketing strategies, all kinds of stuff like that. Really excited to have you guys on, and I will catch you guys next week. Take care, guys.